Dating Essentials for Men by Dr. Robert Glover. Imagine a guy in his mid-40s, fresh out of a 25-year marriage. Everything he thought he knew just got flipped upside down, and now he's standing at the edge of a completely foreign landscape, the modern dating world. He thinks back to high school. There was this girl he liked, and for weeks he'd just obsess. In his head, they'd already had amazing conversations, gone on perfect dates, built an entire future together. But in reality, he was paralyzed, terrified of screwing up, of looking like an idiot. When he finally forced himself to make a move, it was always awkward and desperate. He'd shuffle over and mumble something like, "So, I don't guess you'd want to go out tonight, would you?" And the result was pretty much always the same. A surprised look, a polite, "Oh, I can't," and a tsunami of embarrassment that made him vow never to speak to her again. That guy was Dr. Robert Glover, the best-selling author of No More Mr. Nice Guy. And when his marriage fell apart, he had this gut-punch realization. Inside, he was still that awkward teenager. He hadn't been on a real date since college, and even back then, he wasn't exactly killing it. He knew that if he wanted love and connection again, he couldn't keep doing the same thing. Something had to change, big time. So he tried something radical. Instead of treating dating like some mysterious game or a quest for validation, he approached it like a scientist. He devoured books, listened to experts, and most importantly, he got out there and actually practiced. He tested theories to see what worked and what bombed. And you know what shocked him? Getting women to talk to him, getting phone numbers, going on dates, even sleeping with them. It wasn't nearly as hard as his brain had convinced him it would be. In fact, it could be surprisingly straightforward. What if the biggest thing standing between you and the love you want isn't your appearance, your bank account, or your social status, but a bunch of invisible lies your own mind keeps whispering to you? By the time we're done today, you'll learn the secrets Dr. Glover discovered to blow those lies apart for good. You'll understand how to become naturally attractive to women, not through cheesy pickup lines or manipulation, but by becoming a more confident, complete, and genuinely interesting person. And here's the thing. This isn't just about dating. This is about transforming your entire life from the ground up. So where do we start? We start with a simple truth that's both powerful and a little unsettling. Your mind lies to you all the time, especially about yourself and about women. Dr. Glover says most guys who struggle with dating, what he calls bad daters, are stuck because of three core problems. They're isolated, they lack basic skills, and most importantly, they're tangled up in a web of self-limiting beliefs. You know these beliefs. They're the voice in your head, saying things like, "I'm too short. I'm not experienced enough. All the good women are already taken. She can tell just by looking at me that I'm a loser." These aren't just random negative thoughts. Dr. Glover explains they're echoes of something much deeper, a core program running in the background of your brain that he calls toxic shame. To understand this, we need to rewind to when you were a little kid. The first part of your brain to develop is this primitive emotional center called the amygdala. It's your fight-or-flight headquarters. It feels everything, but it doesn't think or use language. The rational, thinking part of your brain, the cortex, doesn't fully come online until much later, around your mid-20s. So everything that happened to you in those first few years, every time you felt ignored, abandoned, or not good enough, got recorded in the emotional, nonverbal part of your brain. As a kid, you couldn't grasp the complexities of adult life. When something went wrong, your primitive brain jumped to a simple but devastating conclusion. It must be my fault. Something's wrong with me. This deep, unconscious belief that you're somehow defective or unlovable, that's toxic shame. It became your mental operating system, the invisible code running beneath all your conscious thoughts. And as you grew up, your thinking brain worked overtime to create thoughts and beliefs that matched that core feeling. This creates what he calls the paradigm effect. Your brain becomes a biased filter. It actively looks for, amplifies, and remembers anything that seems to prove your negative beliefs are true. And it ignores, downplays, or explains away anything that contradicts them. Think about it. An attractive woman smiles at you from across the room. Your mind instantly says, "She's probably smiling at someone behind me," because the idea that she's interested in you contradicts your core programming. You look away, do nothing, and later tell yourself, "See, attractive women are never interested in me." Your belief creates your reality, and your reality reinforces your belief. It's a vicious cycle that keeps you trapped. So if your mind is actively sabotaging you, how do you break free? It starts by facing the biggest, scariest dragon guarding your comfort zone, the fear of rejection. There's this classic episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza has an epiphany. He realizes every instinct he's ever had, every decision he's ever made, has been wrong. His life is the opposite of what he wants. So in desperation, he decides to try something new. He's going to do the exact opposite of what his instincts tell him. He orders the opposite lunch. Then, when a beautiful woman looks his way, his old instinct screams, "Bald, unemployed guys living with their parents don't approach strange women." But committed to his new strategy, he does the opposite. He walks right up and says, "My name is George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents." And she smiles and says, "I'm Victoria, hi." He gets the date. This perfectly illustrates one of Dr. Glover's most liberating ideas. Rejection doesn't actually hurt. Let that sink in. All those times you felt that sting, that wave of shame, that wasn't the rejection itself. That was what you told yourself about the rejection. The rejection is just information. It's a simple no to a specific question. The pain comes from the story your mind creates around that no, a story that usually confirms your deepest fears. See, I am unlovable. I am worthless. Fear of rejection, Dr. Glover says, is really just a convenient excuse your mind uses to avoid the real monster, the anxiety of trying something new. So how do you slay this dragon? You do the opposite of what your fear tells you. You run straight at it. Dr. Glover gives his students this wild assignment. Go out and try to get rejected. On purpose. Treat it like an experiment. Your goal isn't to get a yes, it's to collect 3 no's from 3 strangers. This simple shift in perspective is like magic. When you're trying to get rejected, the fear of rejection vanishes. You become bolder, more playful, less attached to the outcome. And here's the ironic part. You'll find that you don't actually get rejected nearly as often as you expected. He shares this incredible story about Dr. Albert Ellis, the founder of a major school of therapy. As a young man, Ellis was terrified of women, so he decided to destroy his fear through exposure. Over 2 weeks, he approached 200 different women and asked them to dinner. All but one said no, and the one who said yes stood him up. He went 0 for 200. But instead of being crushed, he was liberated. He'd conquered his fear, and he went on to have a rich social life well into his 90s. Conquering the fear of rejection is the crucial first step. But it's just the beginning. Once you've proven to yourself that the dragon isn't real, you need to change the entire landscape of your mind. You need to shift from a world of scarcity to a world of abundance. Most of us, especially if we grew up feeling like our needs weren't consistently met, operate from what he calls deprivation thinking. We see the world as a place of lack. Not enough good women, not enough opportunities, not enough love to go around. The glass isn't just half empty, it's bone dry. This mindset forces you to play it safe. Why risk disappointment when good things are so rare? If you do manage to get a girlfriend, you become clingy and desperate, terrified of losing this precious resource. You stay in bad relationships way too long because you believe you'll never find anything better. Dr. Glover argues this is complete nonsense. The world you live in now isn't the family you grew up in. It's an abundant place. There are, in his words, boatloads of goodies out there. Great women, great sex, great relationships, just waiting for you. The problem isn't supply, it's your perception. He shares a personal story about transforming his own deprivation thinking. Feeling emotionally stuck, he and a friend made a pact. Every morning when they woke up and every night before bed, they'd kneel and think about everything they were grateful for. At first, it was a struggle. Their old mental habits fought back hard, but they stuck with it. Soon they noticed a profound shift. They worried less. They were happier. They stopped envying others' success. They realized something deep. Their needs had been met every single day of their lives. Why would tomorrow be different? This is abundance thinking. It's not something you chase. It's a state of mind. It's the awareness that you're already blessed. It's like air. You don't hoard it or worry about running out tomorrow. You just breathe, trusting it's always there. When you adopt this mindset, you start seeing opportunities everywhere. You become what Dr. Glover calls a walking miracle magnet. You realize relationships aren't things you hunt down. They're miracles that happen when you leave your house and engage with the world. This brings us to one of the most important sections of the book, where he reveals something about women that many are afraid you'll discover, but deep down hope you will. The secret is this: women are nothing more than imperfect human beings. This isn't meant to be insulting. It's loving and liberating. For centuries, culture has put women on a pedestal through movies, music, and literature, portraying them as mysterious, superior, and unattainable. This mythology hurts everyone. It makes men anxious and insecure, and it prevents women from being seen for who they truly are. A healthy woman doesn't want to be on a pedestal. She wants to be met on equal ground, as a fellow imperfect human. Dr. Glover then systematically destroys 5 common myths men believe about women. Myth 1: women are inherently superior to men. Reality check. Due to unrealistic beauty standards and societal pressure, the average woman actually has a pretty low opinion of herself. They're just as flawed, just as insecure, and no more emotionally evolved than you are. Myth 2: women are complicated. He says this just isn't true. While their emotions can be changeable, influenced by brain chemistry and hormones that fluctuate wildly, their core motivation is surprisingly simple. After 30 years as a marriage counselor, Dr. Glover knows one thing for sure: women are security-seeking creatures. When a woman acts in ways you don't understand, it's almost always because her sense of security has been threatened somehow. They need to feel safe. Myth 3: women are naturally good at relationships. Just because women consume more relationship content doesn't make them experts. In fact, he argues, most women don't want to be in charge of the relationship. They want a man who'll set the tone and lead. Myth 4: women expect perfection from men. Most guys think women only want tall, rich, handsome men. This is just another self-limiting belief. A healthy woman isn't looking for perfection. She's looking for someone who's real, honest, and confident in himself, flaws and all. Your rough edges are what make you interesting. And finally, myth 5: the friends to lovers strategy works. This is a classic nice guy mistake. Becoming a woman's friend, hoping it'll blossom into romance, almost never works. This leads to one of the book's most memorable lines. Women don't sleep with a man they've gotten to know. They get to know a man they want to sleep with. The initial spark of attraction has to be there. Trying to build it through friendship is like trying to start a fire with wet wood. All of this boils down to one central idea. Women aren't the solution to your life. They're not the main course. As Dr. Glover puts it, women are the icing, not the cake. If you're looking for a woman to complete you, to give your life meaning and purpose, you'll always be frustrated and resentful. Your job is to first build a great life for yourself. Bake a great cake. Only then can a woman be the delicious icing on top. So how do you bake that cake? This was Dr. Glover's own wake-up call when he tried online dating after his divorce. Reading profiles of women who sailed, hiked, ran marathons, and traveled the world, he had a holy crap moment. He realized he didn't really have much of a life outside work and family. He knew that to attract an amazing woman, he first had to build an amazing life for himself. He lays out the key ingredients for this great cake of a life. First, and most important, passion. A man must make his passion his number one priority. This is the core of masculine energy. It's not about ignoring your partner. It's about having a mission, a purpose that drives you. This creates the polarity that naturally attracts feminine energy. When a man abandons his passion to make a woman the center of his universe, he loses the very energy that attracted her in the first place. Second, you need strong relationships with guy friends. Your male friendships are the foundation a healthy, intimate relationship is built on. A woman can't and shouldn't be your everything. She can't be your best friend. You need men in your life who understand you in ways a woman never can, who will hold you accountable and support you. Third, regular, strenuous exercise. This isn't just about looking good. It's about self-discipline and control. When you prove to yourself you can control your body and push through discomfort, it sends a powerful, nonverbal signal to women that you've got your act together. It makes them feel safe. And finally, constantly lean into challenge. Comfort is a trap. It never satisfies. Growth, fulfillment, and attraction all happen when you step outside your comfort zone. When you focus on baking this cake, building a life of passion, friendship, health, and challenge, something magical happens. You stop needing a woman to validate you. And ironically, that's precisely when you become most attractive. But even with the right mindset and a great life, you still need to know how to interact. This is where Dr. Glover shifts from inner game to outer game, from mastering your mind to perfecting your practice. He says the number one mistake nice guys make is being passive. They let the woman set the tone and lead. They ask, "What would you like to do?" hoping to seem agreeable. But to a woman, this doesn't signal respect. It signals weakness. It makes her feel insecure. Remember, she's a security-seeking creature. She doesn't want to drive. She wants to know you have a plan and can be trusted behind the wheel. The antidote to passivity is to set the tone and take the lead. This isn't about being controlling. It's like being the lead dancer. You provide the frame and direction, and she chooses whether to follow. But she can't follow if you don't lead. So how does this work in practice? This is where Dr. Glover introduces the real secret of natural players, the art of testing for interest. He explains that every social interaction happens in 3 simple levels. Your job isn't to read minds. It's to test, observe the response, and act accordingly. Level 1 testing is what he calls playing in the minors. It's basic social pleasantries, a smile, eye contact, a comment about the weather. You practice this with everyone, everywhere. Cashiers, baristas, old men, young women. The goal is to make social interaction a relaxed, natural habit. You simply observe if the person responds with high interest. They smile back, engage, or low interest. They look away, give one-word answers. It's not personal. It's just data. If you get a high-interest response, the conversation naturally moves to level 2 testing, finding commonality. This is where you have a real conversation. Discover common interests, and use what he calls the 3 teraseconds: tease, touch, and tell. You playfully tease her. You make light, casual physical contact, like touching her arm, to see how she responds. And you playfully tell her to do something small, like, "Hey, save my seat." This projects confidence and raises the emotional tension in a fun way. If she continues showing high interest throughout level 2, laughing at your jokes, touching you back, leaning in, then it's time for level 3 testing, requiring something of her. This is the close. This is where most men freeze, because they're afraid of losing the approval they've just gained. But you have to push through. You must boldly ask for something that requires commitment from her. The most common forms are getting her number or setting up a date. You don't ask, "Would you like to give me your number?" You hold out your phone and say, "Give me your number." This confidence is the number 1 turn-on for women. Bringing all these principles together, Dr. Glover offers a final, powerful challenge, the 12 Dates in 12 Weeks challenge. The goal is simple. Go on one practice date with a different woman every week for 12 weeks. Doesn't matter who they are, it's just practice. This forces you to apply all the skills. Getting out, setting the tone, testing for interest, and crucially, becoming a, quote, ender. And this final skill might be the most underrated of all. Dr. Glover says you can get away with being a bad picker if you're a good ender. Knowing how to cleanly and respectfully end things with a woman who isn't right for you is the ultimate dating insurance. It gives you the freedom to explore, take risks, and go all in when you meet someone promising, because you know deep down you have the strength and ability to get out if needed. It's the confidence that you'll never again get stuck in a relationship you shouldn't be in. When you step back and look at dating essentials for men, you realize it's not really about pickup lines or seduction techniques. At its heart, it's about personal integrity. It's a roadmap for becoming so grounded in your own life, so clear on your own purpose, that you don't need a woman's approval to feel whole. And in that not needing, you become irresistibly attractive. The most powerful lesson for me is the shift from an approach mentality to an attraction mentality. The dating advice world is full of tactics for getting the girl. The right words, the right stance, the right sequence of moves. Dr. Glover flips that entire paradigm. He says stop chasing. Stop trying so hard to impress. Instead, turn inward. Build such a compelling, passionate, and joyful life that great women are naturally drawn to you. Become the fire, and they'll come to warm themselves by it. This is a fundamentally different way of thinking. It's not about manipulating attraction. It's about earning it through self-development. It transforms dating from a stressful performance into a natural side effect of living fully. The skills he teaches, facing fears, challenging negative thoughts, setting the tone, taking the lead, these aren't just dating skills. They're life skills. They'll make you a better leader, a better friend, and a more integrated person in every area of your life. So how can you start applying these ideas today, right now? Here are 3 simple actions. First, the awareness action. For the next 7 days, become an observer of your own mind. Carry a small notebook or use your phone's notes app. Your only job is to notice and write down your self-limiting beliefs as they pop up. When you see an attractive person and your mind says, "She'd never be interested in me," just write it down. Don't fight it, don't judge it. Just become aware of the lies your mind is telling you. Awareness is always the first step to change. Second, the practice action. Start playing in the minors. Make it a game to practice level 1 testing with 3 strangers every day. Could be the cashier at the grocery store, the barista making your coffee, or someone you pass on the street. Just make eye contact, smile, and ask a simple, open-ended question like, "How's your day going so far?" The goal isn't to get a number. It's just to practice initiating human connection with no attachment to the outcome. Third, the mindset action. Tonight before you sleep, start a simple gratitude practice. Lie in bed and think of just 3 specific things from your day you're genuinely grateful for. Could be the taste of your morning coffee, a conversation with a friend, or the feeling of sunshine on your face. This simple act, done consistently, will begin rewiring your brain to see the abundance already all around you. Ultimately, Dr. Glover's message is one of empowerment. It's a call to stop being a passive passenger in your own life and get behind the wheel. It's about realizing that the love, connection, and vibrant life you desire aren't things you find out there. They're things you create from the inside out. That was a summary of Dating Essentials for Men by Dr. Robert Glover. We've covered the major themes and stories today, but here's the truth. A summary, no matter how detailed, can only be a map. The real treasure is found on the journey itself. The magic happens when you read the book yourself, in those quiet moments when a story or simple phrase resonates with you in an unexpected way. This summary is a signpost to help you decide if this path is worth walking. If anything we've talked about today sparked something inside you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change how you see yourself, your relationships, and your place in the world. And if you found this summary valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way you won't miss our next journey into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep growing together.